Greetings and blessings, everyone. I am Yeshua, the co founder and the co creator of Sunco for Divinity Administrations. I am a spiritual advisor as well as a Reiki Master teacher. And I am, I love to, I'm inspired by the divine. Okay. I love that. Um, I enjoy being a vessel of the divine and being the expression of that. Okay. I am devoted to that. And that is what I consecrate my life. And that is where I live, move, and have my being. So, nevertheless, I'm going to go on and speak on a message here. I I don't know if you can hear the background. I have music playing in the background, and it's Layla Hathaway. I love her music. It's so soothing. Nevertheless, I wanted to come on and pretty much elaborate on the last uh, video that I did, and how I spoke on my beliefs and my belief my beliefs not being in alignment with the Christian belief. Um, so I need to go ahead and stretch that, kind of unpack that a little bit more, so that people can get a good understanding. Just because one thing I don't want anyone to think is that I just woke up and said I'm not doing this, or I rebelled against the doctrine of Christianity. No, that was not the case for me. Um, at one point, I was a minister, ordained minister, and I was a devoted and devout Christian. So I know the Word of God very well. And I came up against some emotional issues that I was going through, perhaps some differences that I had in regards to the doctrine, and the differences were more about the way I was, my lifestyle, and preaching a thing that is not in alignment with my lifestyle. So what happened is, I definitely I went on a fast, and a long and extensive fast. And after the fast, I was led out of Christianity. I was led out of Christianity, and I was led out of the doctrine, because my whole um, desire was to be the expression of the divine. But what I did not, um, how should I say, fall in line with, was the fact that I had to go to someone in order to speak to the likeness and the image of who I am. It just didn't line up with me. Um, And not only that, I went to a lot of my church members and church leaders, and I started asking them questions. They couldn't answer my questions, and that made it even more frustrating and disappointing. Because when you're going to church, and you're in church, and you're in the ministry, and you're going there, and you are listening to this man or woman expound upon the word of God from the pulpit, you tend to deem that person to think to know more than you do. Therefore, if they know more than you do, then they can answer all the questions that you have, simply because they've been on the earth longer than you have. And they have read the Bible extensively, more so than you have. So I ran into that issue, and what I've come to find out is that religion is one thing, and I wanna make this very clear. Because I come from a Christian background, I cannot denounce or discard the fact that the doctrine within itself, the teachings of Yeshua, um, uh, served as a foundation for where I am now. Okay. um, because it served as a full and complete foundation for the space and the place in which I find myself in now when it comes to the I am that I am presence, when it comes to the teachings of Yeshua, when it comes to the teachings of Jesus, however you want to call him, the teachings of Lord Nada, Sanada. If you know yeah. But I went on this journey, and I went on this journey simply because I had questions. That's one thing I will say is that once you get on the spirit, what is going to put you on the spiritual path, or what is going to open up that portal, or what will cause a shift to take place in the spiritual dimensions of the higher aspects of who you are questions. When you begin to ask these deep, deep, deep questions that no one can answer outside of you, you have to go within. You have to go within, and you have to, um, lay at the feet of your higher self through meditation, contemplation, and prayer. So I wanted to make that very clear. Make it very clear that I have absolutely nothing against the doctrine. However, on my path, I was led out of it simply because the doctrine itself no longer supported who I was becoming. Now, I'm going to say this about Yeshua is that Yeshua was not a Christian. Okay. Yeshua was not a Christian. Um, he was a devout and divine being, just as we all are. And he had a teaching that was surrounded around becoming Christ consciousness, becoming the Christ consciousness. It even stated somewhere in the Bible that, hey, these things that I do, you will do even more and greater. Now, he said these things. Now, in order for you to do those things, you have to come into the Christ consciousness. You have to. You have to be in the Christ consciousness. Now, this is my thing with the Christ consciousness is that you already have it. However, it needs to be awakened. It has to be awakened. It's almost like, I kind of picture myself coming out of my mother's womb, growing, coming into a grown woman, and coming into full and complete development as a grown woman. Yet, from a spiritual perspective, I got to work myself back into the womb of my mother. Hmm? What is my mother? It is the divine womb. What is my father? It is the divine. It is the divine womb. Okay? Work myself back into the mystical marriage of Father, Mother, God. They're not separate. And then it's you. And that's where you have the Trinity. See, you are a part of the Trinity. But, a lot of people don't believe in the Trinity. I mean, and it's okay. It's okay. I think this is what I find I'm so grateful that I'm here in this space and place in America where I can believe what I choose to believe. I can say what I believe and not be burned to a stake or not be lynched for it or not be, and this and that, not be persecuted for it. This is the beautiful thing of being in America, if you will, the United States of America. And I wanted to say this too. I wanted to say this because I didn't even expound upon this in regards to the election. Now, I had a dream. I had already dreamed that Donald Trump was going to win. I dreamed it. I dreamed it. And when I dreamed it, it saw that it was showing that the numbers, was getting kind of shaky there. But then out of nowhere, boom, Donald Trump was the president. Okay. So I rushed to the phone and I told her I had to tell a friend because I wanted to let her know, hey, don't be upset when this comes to fruition because I've already had a dream. So you're not going to be surprised because I've already told you the dream. So I did that, and I'm sure that she went through her emotions about it, but I'm sure that she was definitely satisfied. But I will say this: President Donald Trump, um, even though he is in the house, and I think that we as light workers or divine beings or whoever we want to call ourselves of the light, we still need to raise him up in prayer. We still need to pray for him. We still need to have compassion for him, even when he say things out of his mouth that we feel insulting or what have you. It's called unconditional love, huh? That's called unconditional love. So, it would behoove us, especially if you are called to the path of the light worker. It would behoove of you, whether you like it or not, to humble yourself and be at peace with the results of the presidency. Hmm? And just like I said, raise him up in prayer, his family up in prayer. Continue to pray for Kamala. I'm hoping that this won't be her last run. I'm hoping that she will run again. And it's just a beautiful day. It's just a beautiful day, and I have no, I don't feel any kind of way about it. I'm neutral, and I'm impartial, which is one of the characteristics or the traits of a spiritual being, especially when they become enlightened. They become impartial. You know why they become impartial? And you know why it's important that you must humble yourself and move into that space of neutrality? Is that because the Creator created all things. And if you and the Creator are in alignment with one another, you're one with that Father, Mother, God, and Goddess, or however you want to put it. If you're one with that, you shouldn't be concerned about it anyway, because you're going to win either way, because you are in alignment with the greater good of all that is and all that will ever be. Therefore, all things in your life should be working together just for your good, just for your good, because of the love that you have for the divine and the love that the divine has for you in that relationship. um, I think that's a good way for us to look and to strive to be. We have and I'm not going to say that I'm always on point when it comes to unconditional love, because surely I've had my experiences where it was hard to love a person. But one thing that I have come to understand is that it's not hard to love people. It's very easy to love people. However, liking them may be a different thing, and I am not commanded to like anyone. However, I'm commanded and commissioned, purposed, missioned to love everyone, whether I have their differences with them or not. And this is why forgiveness should be easy. But I'll say this: forgiveness is easy, but the process of it is very, very intense. It is very intense. It is very intense. And I'm not going to sit up here and say that it's an easy thing, because it's not. It's not. It is not. Forgiveness or forgetting is not an easy thing, but I tell you what, when you get to a place where you have forgiven someone, the thoughts of that person, place, or thing, they no longer have a sting. They no longer have a charge. They no longer have a charge to trigger you, or to cause you to have some type of bodily reaction to it. Okay, the charge is gone. There's nothing else there for it to latch on to. So when we catch ourselves in these moments where we're dealing with difficult people, and peoples, and persons, places, and things, one of the things that we have to do is we definitely have to humble ourselves, because at the end of the day, we have to understand that there's a law of correspondence taking place. There's a cause and effect. The laws of the universe are taking place in order for that person to even be in your life. So this is where you have to sit down in the darkness of those moments and dig, go within. I mean, hey, I don't know his name, but he would always say dive in deep. Yes, that's what you do. See, that's what you do when you're in meditation and in prayer and contemplation. You're diving deep into the inner and ooh, the most deep and deep parts of you from a divine perspective. The Bible tells me, or I have read in the Bible, that the deep calls the deep. See, when you get in your posture of meditation and prayer and contemplation, you are posturing yourself to be called into the deep of who you are, the depth of who you are. Okay, the depths of who you are. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's the easy thing, but I will say that whatever you go through is well worth it. It is worth it. The freedom of it is worth it. That's what you're shooting for. That is what you're moving towards, is the freedom. Uh, and with that freedom, it's all about non-attachment. You cannot, you have to be mindful of the things that you do uh, attach yourself to. But and I'll say this, even being mindful of the things that you're attached to, be mindful of that thing and be aware that you are attached to it, but also work on the back end to know that non-attachment is the name, is the path in which you got to be on. Non-attachment. So instead of giving 100% into something, maybe give 25%. You know, the only thing and the only relationship that one should be given into 100% plus 100, 100, 100, and for all infinity, is the relationship in which you have with yourself, the higher aspects of who you are. Okay. Again, I have not always been on this path, but I'm grateful that I got on the path and I remained on the call. And I want to say this before I end. I mentioned, I think in my first video, is that my mission and my purpose is to become an adept individual when it comes to spirituality, to recognize myself as a self-realized and enlightened being. This is my purpose and my mission. Now, when I got on this path to do this, I did not know that it was going to come to this. But one thing I do realize and one thing I do know is that when you put your hands to the plow and you ask the divine to show you who you are as the likeness and the image of that divine, that central sun, that I am presence. Get ready, get ready, get ready for the ride. Because you're going to go on a ride, and you have got to have faith. With faith, you have to couple that with courage. With courage, you have to also be humble and continuously turn, turn, turn from the ways that no longer serve you. They may serve you for one time in your life, but hey, when you're on this journey, something you grow out of things and you just turn it. You got to turn away. You got to look the other way and go get it. You know, get on that exit and get on another lane, if you will. You know. So I think that's it for me. I wanted to come on today. I'm not showing my face now. If you don't already know, I'm a very very shy person, and I think as I was looking on my other video, I noticed how I had my head down. I am a very very shy person, or should I say, I don't too much like to be in the camera. I prefer to be in the back, expounding on what needs to be said and how it needs to be said. So, once again, I'm grateful that I came on today, and I'm looking forward to doing another video. I'm sure I'll come back on tomorrow. But I ask that you all stay blessed, stay focused, and stay in the light. And if you find yourself in darkness, get all the understanding, knowledge, and the wisdom that you can get so that you can also be doing the thing in which I do. For this is your purpose and your mission. Be well.